We're on.
Hello, folks.
Greetings.
Today we have chosen to talk about the recent. We're not going to get. We'll get some definitions in there if we come across them. We're going to talk about the silliness in the Senate, about the the nomination of the Supreme Court Justice guy Brett Kavanaugh. Okay. We were going to title this one "I'm Spartacus." So.
Definitely. Yep. Spartacus it is.
So, if no one is familiar with Spartacus, the old movie, and off of the movie of said name, Spartacus is a movie about. It's actually pretty appropriate that Cory Booker used it because it has to do with an odd take on citizenship. And that was this. Back in ancient Rome, and I've read the history of Rome, part 1 by Livius. So, yes, I've read this. From a contemporary who wrote it back then. Okay, what happened was with Spartacus. Okay, Spartacus was if I'm not mistaken, he was some sort of, from one of the Greek states, and he was taken in battle and he was enslaved. Just like now in this country.
It's like Russell Crowe.
Slavery is... Well, yeah, but he was a general.
Yeah.
Slavery is legal in the United States, people. Still legal if you are a criminal or paying a debt.
Which we had that whole, whole spiel last episode.
So, this Spartacus guy was some sort of Greek, and he was taken in battle, and he was a slave, and then he was taken from slavery to a gladiator school.
And he fucking killed everybody.
And then he took off, and he battled the Romans for years throughout Rome. The movie doesn't give that part of it justice, because back in the day it was hard to raise an army. So.
Well, I'm going to say that the newer versions from the cable channels have made it a lot more up to date. He had a lot of sex, apparently.
Yeah, probably.
They made a lot of porn.
Probably used Instagram too, and took selfies.
But yeah, apparently he got into the house of the guy that was like the slave owner or whoever was running like the mayor of the fucking shit, and then killed a bunch of people.
Well,
then,
yeah, that's
killed,
what
a
happened.
senator or some shit, and then Rome.
What happened was he was in Padua, which is a city in Italy. And he was a slave, and then he was taken as a gladiator, and then from there, he and his fellow gladiators in the school just kind of took off. And they ran around Rome for years before they tried to leave. Now, why did they not leave Rome? This is the interesting part, how it ties in now. They didn't want to leave Rome because they felt that they were Roman. They didn't think they should leave.
That good old thing called belief.
Well, they said...
Let's go back to our
word belief. When they actually, would talk to the Roman generals and, try and negotiate, they were always like, no, give us citizenship. That's what we want. We want citizenship. Even though you brought us here for cheap labor, we want citizenship. Now we're not leaving. And we'll fight you to not leave this country. Does that seem
that sounds
like
very familiar?
It may tie into some things that are going on very day.
Person of color.
And maybe, from a place we won't name the country because I don't want to be called racist, but it rhymes with Texaco. And they come here and they don't want to leave, and then all of a sudden they're actually fighting for citizenship.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this Cory Booker used it completely incorrectly.
But can't you even relate that to the fucking slavery? Like, wasn't that the whole you had blacks on the fucking Confederate? Yeah, probably some of the Confederate and some of the Union, we're fighting for freedom, all that, blah, blah, blah.
Well, there were black soldiers on the southern side because they believed in the notion of, I don't know how strictly we'll use the word believe.
Yeah.
But, they did understand because they weren't retarded. They were simply slaves, that they were not, Intellectually, they were not inferior, obviously, as we know. They understood the notion of states' rights and stuff like that, and freedom. And prior to Lincoln, the president of the United States was just a presiding officer of the government. That's actually what they called him, by the way. President is an invented word. His name just used to be called the presiding officer. But they just thought that was just, didn't hit hard.
It sounded like a guy you could actually meet down the street.
Right. Which some people did back then. But here's where I'm going to tie into the Spartacus thing real quick. Now, at the end of the movie Spartacus, why does Cory Booker stand up and say, I am Spartacus? I believe maybe he was cueing people to certain things. Like there was going to almost be like some sort of revolution that occurred.
Yeah.
Or there was going to be something where people said, well, you're going to have to kill me or get rid of me. He didn't use it completely incorrectly because as it turns out, if you hear him speak and you hear him question, he's a very intelligent man.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. So that in of itself should let people know that he's somebody to be feared. He is intelligent. So if he comes across as stupid or he comes across as a street dude, which he is not, his parents were the first two black executives of IBM, he's lying to you. He's just flat out lying. But at the end of the movie, what happened was the Romans had finally defeated Spartacus and his slave army, and they had them all. And of course, as was the time, they were just basically going to sell them all back into slavery. I mean, what they say about war, it's a poor war that can't make somebody rich. So the general's like, fuck it, I'm just going to sell them all into slavery. Show me Spartacus. At which point, no one could show him Spartacus. No one. So the general kind of got a little smart and finally found out who Spartacus was. And right when he was about to grab Spartacus out of the crowd, some other man stood up and said, I'm Spartacus. And Spartacus looked at the man and was like, no, I can't let you do this. And he went to stand up and another man jumped up.
I am
said,
Batman.
I am Spartacus, right? A similar
We're
thing, right?
Batman.
So that's what happened. Like at the end, before the real Spartacus could stand up, everybody had stood up and said they were Spartacus. So, Cory Booker's little kind of the only thing I don't like about it is it's all for a show.
It's so
basically
not
wants
any
to
of
get
that.
thrown out of the Senate because he wants to run for president anyway.
Yeah.
So,
here's what I kind of equated it as. It's almost like the fucking kid in high school who's trying so hard to be like this bad guy. It's like, oh, look, I parked in the parking lot without a permit. Oh, I'm breaking the rules.
Oh, you're a rebel.
Oh, my shirt's untucked.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at me.
What are you talking about?
Chewing gum.
I was watching him on CNN, and he was like, Anderson, I'm breaking the rules by doing this. Da, 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 da. I am breaking the rules.
Yeah.
And the consequence is I should be removed from the Senate.
Right, and then
I am breaking the rules. He was like, all right, my man, we get it.
Yeah, he was trampled with his logic when somebody came up and said, well, those were released already. So,
but they're classified.
Yeah, but they were still classified. It's like, oh, we just didn't take the word off. They were already released. It's like, damn it! I was trying to be a bad boy.
Right, it's so ridiculous.
It reminds me of...
so outrageous.
It reminds me of, I know nobody here who's ever going to listen to this watch Cheers, but there's an episode with Fraser Crane, who's like the straight guy of the Cheers cast. He's a what do you call it? A psychiatrist and a doctor. And one episode, he just goes crazy, and he's running around, and he's everybody's you're so straight laced. And he ends up going crazy, and he picks up a pair of scissors, and he's running around the bar. And everybody's like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "I'm running with scissors. I'm running with scissors." He's like a rule breaker now, like Cory Booker. Look what I'm doing. And everybody else is just sitting like this fucking guy.
Yeah.
So now,
I think this is like the Trump effect, though.
Well, hold on though, because Cory Booker, I will presume, is a man who knows that maybe he was standing up for somebody else. Maybe somebody else was supposed to be cute at that time to try and stand up and go,
I am Cory Booker.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like those movies. It's like
they fucking snitched on.
Yeah, no.
They fucking snaked the shit out.
Yeah, it's like the Three
Stooges.
Stooges.
Oh, no, man, I'm sitting down.
It's like the Three Stooges where everybody goes, well, whatever, step forward, and all three go to step forward, and then two of them fake Curly out, and they step back. Like right when Curly steps out front.
It's like
that's what it reminds me of.
Whatever you thought this was going to do, it absolutely did not.
So, but it was a funny show. Like, because I know so many people now who are just kind of like laughing their ass off about it. So, hey, look, at least he amused us all.
But I mean, Brian, he went from being like, I remember hearing him talk like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was like, oh yeah, he could definitely run for president because like he's intelligent, he sounds like
right.
He's not like I'm a socialist. He's talking about regular stuff. And he's making sense. But now he's talking about fucking Spartacus, and I'm releasing these documents.
Yeah. In other words,
trying to be a hard ass.
Right.
It's like, but dude, they've already been released to the public. They've been cleared already.
Yeah, like we already read them. We're like, oh yeah, page 6.
And it wasn't even anything.
It's like, look at this, and you're like, yeah, page 6. Yeah,
so
I saw page 6.
Let's take it to like just a little bit further, Brian. All right, so let's say it was even a bad document. Let's say it was like, oh, see, yeah, they were trying to hide this.
Right.
All right, cool. Corey, maybe you didn't know that they released it already. Cool. Well, what's in the document? Let's see what's so, like, shocking and you got to stop all this stuff.
Right.
Wasn't even there. There was nothing.
Exactly. Nothing was
there.
There.
Was absolutely nothing.
Was there.
This whole thing was nothing.
Listen, Steve, I have a belief that he was really, that they had made a plan or something for that day. Like, maybe they were going to rush him or something. I don't know. Like, something more was supposed to go on when he said that.
Or maybe it's... Wait, hold on. Maybe we're not looking at the irony about it. Perhaps this is just proof that the left and Democrats can't execute anything properly.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe it was like, yeah, all right, we got this because... All those people came in, started getting thrown out.
Now listen,
there was like a bunch of women getting thrown out.
Okay, this is
people of all color.
Historical point, people. Ready? Usually when an assassination of some sort takes place or something like that, there is some weird yelling beforehand. You know,
right.
like
Malcolm X.
Right. Even with Abraham Lincoln, six Tyrannus or something like that, the tyrants. Something is screamed and everybody turns and looks and goes, what the hell is that guy talking about?
Right.
So that's what I mean. Like, I think maybe something else was supposed to happen. Like, I know I'm getting real conspiratorial here.
No. I agree, but it's like, because this was the biggest, like, fucking dud.
Right.
It's like, if we drop the bomb, it just sat on the ground. Yeah,
or it was like...
And Japan was like, wow, we should probably shoot this back. Like,
John Wilkes Booth went to shoot the president. He yelled, 6 Tyrannus, and then he pulled out his gun and he forgot the bullets. There was
he tripped and like fell off the balcony. Like,
in other words, it does not... I will not believe that a man of his age, because he's older than me, I would not believe that a man of Cory Booker's age and intelligence and knowledge would not know that yelling that means you're covering for somebody. I'm Spartacus means you're covering for somebody.
So who was the somebody then?
I don't know. Who was it? Was there somebody supposed to come out and shoot Brett Kavanaugh? Was Chuck Schumer supposed to stand up and shake his fist? Or I don't know. But in other words, that's a cover. That's not a declaration. That's like...
Well, I'm going to release these documents, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it's the act of releasing the documents.
Okay, maybe it's the act of falling on the sword, so to speak. Like, sacrificing yourself for the greater good type thing.
But
in other words, I'm going to sacrifice my career for the greater good.
This is why I think the left is just the lie. Because none of that's real. All that falling on the sword shit, there was no sword.
Right, there was no
sword. There was no sword, man. Nobody was threatening anything.
Yeah, like there's just so many things that reminds me of. It's funny.
For instance, here we go. All right, so it's almost like God just fucking twisted the script a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, this Spartacus moment should be like the fucking Pope stood up and said, hey, all these priests are raping people. I am Spartacus.
Right, yeah, basically.
And it's like, I got all the proof. look, I'm going to fall on this sword for the greater good of society.
Okay.
Right? But that didn't happen. The Pope's like, nah, I don't know. Yeah, I knew about it, but what the fuck? Nah.
Yeah, or like
we've been doing it for centuries.
Or like the Vietnam movie where somebody eventually jumps on a grenade. Like,
yeah, but I mean, do you understand what I mean? It's
he jumped on the grenade. He jumped on the grenade didn't go off, and he just he jumped on the grenade. He's like, run, guys, save your lives!
And it's like, but dude, it's not a grenade. It's just
2 seconds later, it's like, come on, guys, go! You're still standing here. The friend's like, it was just a potato.
It's almost like
that was just a potato.
It's almost like that moment was supposed to have the significance of us finding out about pedophilia in the Catholic Church.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There was supposed to
and
be
it's
some sort
not.
of bomb.
It's like
there's supposed to be some sort of bomb with it.
It's like Kavanaugh said he didn't want racial profiling. That was the big, oh my gosh, he's a racist moment that you just what? It's like they're shooting. They've never had weapons, and they're like, no, we're gonna blow up the whole place. It's like, but you guys don't. Yes, we do. It's
now,
like, he might. We don't know.
Well, hold on here. Now back to the Kavanaugh. Now here goes the Kamala Harris exchange. Remember, we have spoken here a number of times, and we usually speak about it in terms of who met with the Russians.
Okay.
Hillary or Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And in other words, we believe here that they both met with the Russians. Nobody wants to say it because the truth is we were both there. In other words, if you follow me, Hillary's saying you met with the Russians, and Trump's going, okay, well, tell everybody how.
Yeah.
Because we all know that, basically she was in the room. She had met at the same time.
We ordered 3 shots of Louis XIII,
yes,
remember?
There you go. Right. So, I believe now the exchange between Kamala Harris and Kavanaugh, Kavanaugh was a perfect example of that, because there's a famous exchange where he refuses to answer a question. He keeps answering questions with questions. As we know here, we taught...
That's the right way to do it, my man.
Always answer with a question.
Yeah, perfect technique.
So, what was going on was she was asking him if he had spoken to anybody who worked at a certain law firm and about the Robert Mueller investigation into Russian collusion. And basically, his return question was, well, who would you be talking about? Now, if you were watching it and you had an untrained ear, you would just think he was being, he was hindering her question. The problem with her, because you could see the smirk in her face, basically he was daring her the whole time. He was daring her, he was saying through his questions, you and I both know I met with some guy who's supposed to work at that law firm, but he's somebody that you don't want to name because you probably weren't supposed to be fucking talking to him either. Right, so what's his name? What guy are you talking about? Right? We
so
all
now
do that.
You have knowledge of the person.
Right. So she's like, have you talked to anybody? And he's like, well, who would you be talking about? I can't read. I don't know all the staff there. And, of course, it's a law firm, so she named the 3 or 4 names in the title of the law firm. And it wasn't those people. And, so basically... what happened there was we had possibly a snitch situation, and it was a snitch situation most likely where it was a law firm, so it's probably some sort of attorney privilege. Basically, somebody had told her, and they abused their privilege, which means they won't be a lawyer anymore. So, in other words, if we all sit and watch that, we can see this gamesmanship that we all get beat up with every day.
Yeah.
In other words, she knows, he knows. She's asking him, he's asking her. They refuse to answer the question that each one is posing to the other. And that's how we are supposed to do life.
Yeah.
In other words, you get the ticket. You owe me money. Really? Well, how so? Well, because on such and such a day. I'm going through one right now with the red light ticket where, the red light ticket things are signed. So when I wrote the thing back, I just wrote it to the person who signed it.
Yeah.
And they say, according to, 30-B2F, you violated. Oh, really? Well, what does that mean? Tell me. You just swore, so you have to know what it is. And unfortunately, if you gave me 30-2, I need to know 30-1.
Right.
And if there's a 30-3, I need to hear that too. I need to hear 29-1. The 31s, and so on and so on and so on. And that's how this thing of ours goes, people. It does. You just have to enforce it. My point is, you saw it. If you watched, you saw it in action. Basically, this guy, they both knew what was going on. She's not allowed to say it. He knows she's not allowed to say it. And he's just going to keep banging away. And she's going to keep banging away on her side. He's going to keep banging away on his side.
No.
And that's all he was doing. He was just basically saying, if you listen to his questions, he was saying, oh, I know who you're talking about. And are you allowed to talk to that guy? That's all this Kavanaugh guy was saying back.
No.
And he was saying, if you, Senator Harris, can say that name, I'll tell you yes. But we both know you can't say that name. Right? And people, what do we do here a lot with getting tickets? Send me
Bill.
And why do we say send me the bill? Because we know they can't send you a bill.
Yeah.
And that's all we're doing. This was a beautiful example of how this shit works. How the shit show of our country works. It was beautiful. I hope everybody should.
That's probably why he's going to be a good Supreme Court
Oh
justice.
yeah, the dude's just too sharp. He's just too sharp, because what would happen is they would keep trying to, they would keep trying their best to break it down to a, yes or no question. And he knew they were loaded.
Yeah.
In other words, yes, I understand if I answer your yes or no question right here, right now, I already know what part 2 of the question is going to be. It's loaded.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to answer it unless you're going to answer first. And he just... and not only that, but that dude's sharp as a tack. He played the dummy role good. If you watch him answer it, he comes across as a dummy.
I didn't get a chance to watch.
You should watch some of it. He comes across as a dummy when he's answering questions. Remember? And what do we always say here? A number of times, Steve. Play stupid.
Man.
I don't know nothing. Man, that dude is a fucking master. You're talking about a dude who... let's put it this way. He had been quoted by Obama, Bill Clinton. He's been quoted by presidents who were in fucking trouble using his precedents and his, whatever he writes in his decisions. They're quoting this dude.
Yeah. That's
how good this guy is. And you see him fucking interview dude, and they're asking questions. He's awesome, Steve. He's like, he plays the role. He hands it up with the scratch in the head, and he even puts on the loser face, like, yeah, geez, and he blows, and he's, geez, what you got, and he looks up to the sky, and he scratches his head. Was that a pickle? I don't know. I thought it was jelly. He just plays the role so fucking well, and that's the way we are supposed to be. That is a judge, a lawyer, a federal judge, an ex-White House assistant, advisor, and now soon to be Supreme Court. If that's how he is acting, that's how we are supposed to act.
Yeah.
So if the ticket comes through the door and you go, listen, I don't know what this is, so I'm just giving this back. And everybody in the PPA is going, this fucking asshole knows it's a ticket. What is he, retarded? And that's exactly what you want them to say. Is this guy retarded? Yes, I am. So explain the whole fucking thing to me. And I just have a series of questions, and you're not going to be able to answer them all.
Yeah.
At some point, your answer is going to be something to the effect of, well, just give me the fucking money. And at which point I'm going to say, now get the fuck away from me. I'm going to shoot your face. Don't ask me for money like that. If you want money, you ask for it. Don't tell me I owe you shit unless you can prove I owe you shit. So I wanted to kind of, because I thought it was interesting. I really did. And I hope people start watching some of it.
I think we're still missing the fucking interesting part of who the fuck was Cory Booker covering for.
I don't know, because it wouldn't be who you think it is.
Pull out the fucking pistol.
It wouldn't be who you think it is. Like, conventionalism would say it was Harris.
You think the senators were like, boom, boom.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
the
deep state assassin.
Smart money would say it was...
Just pulls out a fucking AR and it's like...
Smart money would say it was Harris. Right?
She was going to pull out the pistol?
Yeah, smart money would say that, but that can't be the way it goes.
Shoot Kavanaugh in the chest, and now we gotta vote for a new Supreme Court justice.
Now you can't fucking... Now he's never going to be...
Yeah,
maybe it was just some
you'll never have it to court.
Maybe it was just some loser.
We will have abortion.
Maybe like Michael Moore was there that day, and he was going to jump out and do it. With all his, I own guns, I'm from Michigan, I own guns. Yeah, shut up, lady. So...
Oh, man.
So, that's interesting, guys. Now I want to get on to this phony Nike outrage thing.
The Nike shit?
Honestly, we have to go back and forth with this, and a lot of people are surprised because they always think we're the Trump supporters, Steve, because we make fun of liberals, but they don't realize we're just making fun of their silliness. The dude can kneel down if he wants. I don't give a shit. First off, he hasn't played in 2 years, so I don't care. I don't care if he's at home and he kneels during the anthem. I don't even stand up. Like, he's not in the sport anymore. Why is everybody going so crazy?
Well, it's, I'm looking at it. I personally think, I was arguing with my friends about this, I personally think the whole kneeling thing is just political bullshit.
Of course.
I mean, some people put a lot of fucking, like, heart and soul into it. Like, remember, like, when the fucking, the track runners in the 60s, like when they won the gold medal, they did the Black Power face.
Right.
They're trying to make it like that.
Right.
And I don't really think it's like that.
No.
Alright, because I mean, I don't think that cops killing black men is the epidemic that everybody makes it out to be.
Statistically, it's not.
You know what I mean? I get it, the
Right.
culture of it, I understand it.
Right.
But I don't think it's like, when I drive down the street, I'm not like, oh my god, I think a cop is going to shoot me.
Right.
I mean, when I drive past a cop, I'm black, so I'm like, is he going to turn on his lights and come? Maybe. But
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh my god, I'm about to get shot.
Right.
Okay, so with that being said, alright guys, you want to kneel if it means that much to you, cool, but I don't really think you're doing anything to change anything.
But okay, and that's fine.
You know what I mean?
And that's
but
fine.
cool,
If
if you want to kneel, go ahead.
Right, if
cool.
that's a silent protest, go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't care, because people ask me about this one and they expect a bigger answer. I'm just like, I don't give a shit if that dude kneels. I say,
Right.
who gives a shit? I don't care.
Now on the
Hold on, I'm going to preface this. I gotta stop
Yeah.
it. When I was a fucking kid, I'm telling you, I remember that those players didn't even stop warming up for the anthem. I fucking remember it. This is a phony new thing.
Really? Are
Yes,
you
I
sure?
do. I absolutely.
So when do we start standing
I
and stopping?
have- I have
always remember take your hat off.
I have a vivid
Stand and
no,
take your hat
us. I have a vivid recollection of going to an Eagles game as a kid with my father, and they didn't have
probably
anybody
the
sing
vet,
it.
though. That
Yeah, it
was
was the
the
vet, and nobody was singing. It was just
like
over
hell.
the loudspeaker. It was just over the loudspeaker.
That was hell,
You hear
right?
you hear
That
like
was hell.
you hear like the cracking of the record, like and then like I remember hearing the punter did not stop warming up because I remember hearing like the boom, and you can see the football like they didn't stop. So this is a fairly new thing, but okay, it is what it is.
All right, well, maybe like 9/11, maybe after 9/11.
Okay,
maybe
fine.
That's when
Fine.
when we went into hyper, you know what I mean? Hyper-American
But,
nationalism.
we're talking now 2 years off of this topic.
Yeah.
And people are still making an issue of it. First off, any issue you may have in this world only has the power you give it. The dude's not kneeling anymore, unless, once again, if he's kneeling in his living room or some shit. I don't know. And quite frankly, I don't care. He's allowed to do so. It's not a huge deal in the world of whatever. The whole idea of he's a pampered athlete, okay, that's not part of a good argument against kneeling.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't care how much money he makes because he's not protesting what's happening to him. He's protesting the world around him. Okay,
but I think that's too much of the ideology, though. When they start talking about that, like the right, the conservatives,
right?
Their whole argument about like disrespect to the flag, the veterans who died for the flag, so on and so forth.
Uh-huh.
Like that to me is when the ideology gets a little too much because it's like, all right, I understand it. You think it's disrespectful. He's not standing for the flag.
Right.
Cool. You want to boycott the NFL?
Cool. Right.
You don't want to support them? Cool.
Right.
You want to say they're pampered? They make too much money. What are they complaining about? Cool.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Yes.
I understand it, but I'm just like, guys, I think it's a big hoopah for nothing.
That's what I mean. That's my thing. Now we're just carrying it further 2 years down the road where people are burning Nikes, and you're like, what's the matter with you? Why is it that you bring up the idea that Nike pays this guy to be some sort of whatever he is, and they pay their fucking kids in Vietnam 2 cents an hour? They've been fucking paying those kids 2 cents an hour for 40 fucking years.
50 years?
Now it bothers you? Listen, The very idea that you have Nike gear to burn means you're an asshole because you bought it in the fucking first place. You asshole. Oh, I bought these sneakers for $140 because of Colin Kaepernick. I'm going to burn them. What are you, fucking retarded? Why would you burn them? They were still made by some kid in Vietnam for 2 cents. Fuck you. You're so self-right. This is manufactured. I think, hold on, let me finish.
Go
I think this is the right side now starting to slide down the left thing.
That's where I'm going with it too.
Go ahead.
Are you done with yours?
Yep.
Alright, so I want to try and diagnose it like this with my very limited sports medicine background. I'm going to say this is the Trump derangement syndrome effect thing that we see. Like on the left, they freak out, they're screaming at the sky. I think it's very much contagious on both sides. I think like the right can get a little too drunk
and this is theirs.
And this is their version of it.
Yes, this is theirs.
Because it's like, I mean, I think it's hilarious, first of all, that they're like boycotting Nike. Because I'm interested to see how effective it would be. Just because, like you said, I mean, I'm wearing Nike shit right now.
Yeah.
Right? Do I agree? I hate the fact that my sneakers are made by fucking slaves in fucking Taiwan.
Right.
Like, it pisses me off.
I don't know if they're slaves. That just
but you know, like sweatshops. They're made by little fucking kids in sweatshops, right?
Maybe, but go ahead.
But whatever. We're in America. What the fuck? I gotta go to fucking work, alright?
Right.
I need fucking sneakers. I'm sorry, guys, alright? When I make enough money, I'll go buy the kids out of the fucking sweatshops. Alright? But it is interesting to see if a boycott like this would be effective on a corporation the size of Nike. And I think it's pretty interesting to see Nike go against something that's so like... It's like Nike you would think would be like, no, we're on the side of like purity. Like, you know what I mean? You would think, just from the outside, we know they have sweatshops.
Right.
But it's like, no, LeBron's Adidas, right? Is he Nike?
He's Nike. Everybody's Nike.
He's Nike?
Yeah.
So it's like, we've got LeBron. He's like the poster child of basketball. He's like pure. He's a good guy. Mm-hmm. Boom. Kaepernick's a little like, that's a little hardcore for them. Like, I'm kneeling, fuck cops. Like, he's saying fuck cops.
Yeah.
He supports the lady that shot she ran off to Cuba.
Oh, yeah,
the black,
the French name.
I should know her name.
Isn't it
like Amita Shakur?
Yeah.
Or something like that. I should know that being black, but, you know, whatever.
You said it.
But, yeah, he supported her. So that's, like, radical for them. And I'm really interested to see how effective, like, the Christian or the conservative white Bible Belt believers, you know, like that Confederate flag supporting
Asada Shakur.
I really I want to see how effective they are in boycotting such a huge corporation like Nike.
Well, here's the thing.
It
was one of the biggest ploys in the history that worked so well. I can't believe it. The whole idea of, and I saw this on a meme, so, you know, the guy explained it better than I did first, so I just don't know who it is, but I'll give him the credit, was the whole idea of this is going to be the first time, you know, that the lefties who are so anti-big corporation are now going to flock and carry Nike's fucking stock.
Yeah.
You know?
But remember, that's what, like, we always talk about, like, those, like, that fucking third perspective and shit, and it's almost like, yo, everything just flipped in certain sections.
I want to be those dudes. I want to be the guy. I want to be the guy in the Nike boardroom that says,
"Well, we're going with those guys now."
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going with the idiot. We're going with the idiots over here.
Right. So let's invent. So how are we going to invent this? Right, that's what I mean. Like, how are we going to invent this?
Kaepernick, he's kneeling for the national anthem. It's rebellious because it's anti-America.
Yeah, but these kids don't buy $170 sneakers. How are we going to get them to buy $170 sneakers?
Because we're not targeting them. Because remember, we're targeting the soy boys, the kids that have the money who are bitching about not having the money.
Right, but how are we going to get them to buy the ones?
They're not buying it, Brian. Their mothers are buying it.
But if Trump says not to buy them,
now they have to buy our shit, right?
To buy it. Yeah. That's what I think. I would love to be in that boardroom. I think that's so devious. It's beautiful.
Or no, or do you think it's just like it just comes from like upstairs?
Oh, no, that's deliberate.
You think it's just
that was
like
fucking deliberate?
You think it's like
that whole thought process we just went through is deliberate, absolutely deliberate.
But all right, so look at some other shit. The anti-fascists, they're acting like the fascists.
Right.
They're saying no, we're coming to protest hate. They bring nothing but hate and violence.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Maxine Waters. she's calling for the left to target conservatives, go out and harass them, just like the Klan did back in the 50s.
And then, by the way, when they started harassing her, she got all fucked up.
Right, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
she stopped that rhetoric
it's like
real
now
fucking
the
quick.
racists are black.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, we said this.
And now
Steve,
Nike.
We talked about this before, dude. When
now Nike's like, no, we're not going with the classic Americana. Yeah. We're going with the radical.
Yes, we're going with the guys that wear Chucks. We're going with the guys that wear Chuck Taylors all the time. Listen, Steve, we talked about this, dude.
Oh my God.
We actually, one of our first podcasts,
story writer ever.
It is. God, we were talking about this on one of our podcasts, Steve, where we thought it was crazy that you and I had it. We had it on a YouTube or something like that, and we watched it where a group of white kids in Seattle were protesting, calling the black cops in the street racists.
Right.
And we had stopped right then and there and went, what the fuck? What is going on here? What happened?
Brian, that was like the fucking tremor. That was like the tremor before the earthquake of this madness.
Now it's literally become mainstream.
I mean, but think
literally
about
mainstream.
What we're looking at, Brian. Nike, the swoosh, that thing that doesn't even need, you just see it.
Yeah.
It is the American brand.
Yeah, it's like Coca-Cola.
Like Nike sponsors fucking like baseball teams.
Yeah.
Like
colleges.
Like Nike.
Yeah, like Oregon.
You are America.
Oh.
And they're like, nah, fuck it. We're going with the guy that said fuck America.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And now the stock jumped because all the maniacs went out and said, well, I'll show that fucking Trumpster and I'm going to buy those $170 sneakers
this is the
that
Trump
I can't
effect,
afford.
man. This is... But Brian, I think this is like we're cleansing the body of toxins, man.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you said that to me earlier, and you're 100% right.
This is it.
Like, you said it to me earlier.
Trump
it's all coming out.
Look, we have fucking sepsis. We have a wound that is infected, and Trump is the rub. It's like, look, yo, we just got to pour this shit in.
Yep.
It's gonna hurt. Everybody's gonna be bitching.
Yep.
We're gonna go crazy.
Yep.
We're gonna start grabbing shit, punching people.
Yep.
But it's going to clean all that shit out, and this is what's happening.
Yep, he's just a salt in the wound. He's just a salt in the wound.
Just get it all out. Get all the shit out.
He's the salt in the wound that is the United States.
Yeah.
We are a wound in this country, in this world. We're not anybody who, I was talking to my brother about this. I believe we are a golem. Golem in ancient Jewish lore is that monster they created to protect them that got out of control. At a certain point, the logic being we created this monster to protect us, but now who's going to protect us from the monster now that the monster's beating everybody?
Yeah.
That's all we are. We are nothing more. We're just a big brutish group of whatever who just, we steamroll everybody and everything all the time. And maybe what I wish I would have known more about this example that I brought up going because I don't know how they stopped them, but maybe that's what's happening now.
Yeah, we'll do some homework.
Maybe we're beating our own self to death.
Nah, maybe he's got to split them up. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm looking at, Brian. I'm looking at, we're in a point in history where it's like we're going through like a truth filter where it's like, nah, there is no more. I mean, life's always been like degrees of like black and white. Getting a gray area. Right. But I think now it's like ever since that fucking eclipse that went across the country and split it in half, it's like, no. You got to pick a side on certain things. And you're going to get to a certain point where you're going to realize that even the side that you're on has an extreme that you're like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Both sides.
And I think that's just kind of where
you're
it's
gonna realize
at.
That you're going to realize that you were closer to the middle than you thought.
Right, and I think that's the lesson. Like, just be in the middle. Like, balance. Balance, guys.
The bulk of your body lays toward, everybody has the left and the right side. The bulk of your body and your weight is toward the center line. Always. And if you think it's out in the extremes, it's not. The problem is, when it comes time to go crazy, we need the extremes. But, once again, guys, we have a precedence here that we all learned and we should have learned correctly. In other words, whenever, Hitler has black shirts, Mussolini has brown shirts, even in old Russian history, they had this group of people who they used to, where they get the words like, not assassins. One word for like what we use is crazy. I can't recall right now. But in other words, they use those people to set their schemes in motion, and the moment that they succeeded, the first people to go were those people.
Yeah.
In other words, the first people to go. Now, I don't think he killed them, but the first people to go for Hitler were his black shirts.
Yeah.
And once he came into whatever he wanted to do, and his party did what they did, they all just kind of dissolved away, and the black shirts were gone. In other words, the radicals at some point have to disappear.
Yeah.
So maybe we're starting to see.
Oh, so bro, maybe that's what happened to the fucking black community, man. Think about it. Think about what the fuck you just said. Fucking happened. Right. Panthers. Fucking 60s, right?
Uh-huh.
Boom, there's our radicals. Nah, fuck this. We're stopping the cops. They're not fucking with us anymore.
Right.
Boom, all right, now we're going into like the black power. Then we're moving into like the Africa movement thing, right? Where everybody's like one community.
Uh-huh.
We're getting King. We're getting all these guys. Then they killed everybody. Everybody. And then everything settled down.
The rest just dissolved.
And then now everybody's Democrat.
And I'll give you your example. Now, a guy who, I don't care what anybody says, I will debate you till your death. None of us knew who John Lewis was until recently. And they call him a civil rights icon. I never heard of this man.
Right. When you said, I was like, who is that guy?
He's that guy, or Elijah Cummings.
Fuck.
Elijah Cummings.
Oh, Cummings?
Yeah, but they've been talking about him recently, how he's an icon. 10 years ago, no one knew who that man was.
No one. No. Say, what is today's date? Fucking Monday, September 10th,
why? But why,
2018.
Steve? Why, Steve? Why did we not know who he was until now?
Because he didn't do shit.
No. He might have been super radical, but he did what we just said he did. They killed off his guy. They got what whoever was driving that movement got what they wanted. The radicals had to go. Some of them they killed. The rest of them they made representatives.
Yeah, okay.
Police chiefs, board of directors guys. They just made them fade away.
Yeah.
Right? So he just faded away.
Wait, wasn't that too heroes fade away when the new... It's like something... It's like a phase or hero fade or some shit. They become old. Some fucking poetic shit.
But that's what we're dealing with.
But I meant to actually say that back when we were talking about the Kavanaugh shit with like the protesters getting kicked out. Like it dawned on me like 10 years from now, my kid's fucking history book is going to have these fucking idiots as like civil rights activists.
Yeah.
And it's like you guys were protesting nothing. Like
nothing.
It's stupid shit. And they're going to be in a textbook like this hero, and they're going to get fucking like it's crazy.
Oh, you know who's going to be the worst one is and this people is a conscious thing. Okay, it's a conscious, well thought out notion. Okay, we've always had heroes in this country that were white, and then the civil rights era came about, and then they became black, and then there were no white heroes in this country, right? Name one. There aren't any. Right. So at some point they got to try and take that back. They have to take their history back.
Trump.
No, what's the name of the girl that got run over by the car in Charlottesville?
Oh yeah.
Her name will be remembered with Rosa Parks,
right,
and Martin Luther King.
But see,
her name will be remembered.
Yeah.
That's on purpose.
Right. So, but Brian, remember we were always talking about like those two different like worlds and shit, like the two realities.
Right.
Maybe we didn't, but it seems like I hate to just go on this tangent. I'll sum it up real fast. It's almost like fucking humanity. We're in this fucking thing called this reality, whatever it is, right? Just like fucking any other living organism, just like bacteria, just like our cells. Eventually, mitosis and all that shit takes place, duplicates and divides. Right?
Okay.
It kind of seems like we just split into two realities. You got the left's reality and the right's reality.
Yes.
The left's reality is Trump is a racist, he's a tyrant, white supremacist, Right's reality is Trump is just trying to stop the deep state who people believe has been an oppressive force in America.
Which it has been.
Yes, equality, all that shit has come from this group of corporations and foreign entities who put money into all the social problems that we experience in America.
Right.
All right? And these two separate realities are competing in this sphere that we're in.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that's what we're dealing with.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but you and I,
because like you said, Elijah Cummings is in the left's reality. He's the next fucking like civil rights hero.
Yeah, but and the rest of us are
not
like,
in that reality. We're like, this idiot who's fucking like,
who's this guy? Yeah, but and
fucking Cory Booker Spartacus over here.
Yeah,
and we're looking at him like an idiot. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm serious, man. Like, there's no way he didn't think like he was supposed to like start something right then and there. Like everybody's like something we were supposed to pop off.
No, I mean, Brian, I think
he's like, come on, guys, let's go.
I think he was supposed to get expelled from the Senate. I think it was supposed to be like, oh my gosh, he lost his fucking like. He was supposed to bleed for it.
I don't believe that. I believe something was supposed to pop off. It reminds me of.
Something did pop up. They didn't blow any shit up, did they?
It's like Will Ferrell in Old School. I was like, let's go straight into the quad, let's go! And like everyone's like, yeah. He's like, running, come on guys, let's go! And he's still in the street, like, running. He's like, come on guys! And his wife pulls over. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, we're running through naked. And she's like, who's? Yeah. And he turns around, he looks, and nobody's there. Like that's a good equation to the moment. I don't know. Like I'm going to say this because I said this to a couple people recently, and they kind of want to debate me on it somehow. And it's not like it's a fact. I can't prove it. But you can only constantly manufacture a topic to get outraged for if people are already outraged. They're already mad. They're hateful. It's a hateful world.
Let me ask this question, because I thought about, me and the irony side of it, the two different sides of the same fucking event. So... how ironic is it that Hillary Clinton has 30,000 emails, of which we all are about 95% sure exposes extreme criminal activity, rigging of elections, all that shit, probably dead body shit, all that shit, right?
Possibly.
These were leaked by WikiLeaks, okay?
Okay.
The Democrats, this was literally like their fucking... This was like a silver stake in their fucking chest. Right?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, she did lose because of those emails, but... Yeah.
Well, they can argue that public opinion was swayed because of those emails.
Okay, right.
All right? And Trump used it, and it did show, like... A lot of people were like, whoa, that's some criminal shit. We're not fucking... That's what we needed.
Right.
We knew you were a criminal, but now we really know. So...
You're right.
Boom, boom, boom. But it's almost like the Democrats needed their own Hillary email leak.
Right.
And this was it. Like, no, don't worry. We got our email leak on them.
Yeah.
Here's ours. Look, he's a racist.
Yeah.
But it was nothing because it's almost like the liars are hiding the real shit. And it's like when they try to expose the other guy's real shit, there's nothing there.
Right, exactly. Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like,
they're indicting themselves. Yes, they indict themselves.
I mean?
Their anger is indicting them. In other words, you have my emails. You don't want to look at my emails. Oh my God, and they freak out. And they're like, we got your emails. And the guy's like, okay.
Hold on. Here we go. I'll give you one better, Brian. Let's go to like the fucking, like it's a fucking relationship with a woman. It's like, well, you cheated on me? Well, I fucked two of your friends. And it's like, well, that's worse than what I did. You know what I mean? It's like, I fucked your dad. It's like,
and that's what I'm saying. Or even worse, like you found out that. No, it'd be like if she heard that you banged it, and then she cheated on you, and then she goes, I banged your dad and I got pregnant because you cheated on me. And you go, no, I didn't do that.
Somebody just made it up.
Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Well, let me see your phone. Okay, here.
Right.
Well, let me see your phone records. Okay, here's.
And it's like,
let me see your emails.
No racial profile.
Yeah, let me see your emails.
That was the record you wanted to see?
Sure.
Well, can we see Hillary? No. No, those are classified.
Well, let me see yours, darling. Let me see your stuff. No, you can't see it.
So do you think that if a Republican was like, no, I'm releasing these classified emails, you think they would crucify him and he would be expelled from the Senate?
If it was flip flopped?
No, if like maybe on the right side,
it was completely flip flop.
If the Republican Spartacus has not yet stood up, if he's like, oh well, guess what, guys? How about I got these emails on Mueller about this Russian investigation?
If it was flip flopped. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, they would keep driving that. They would just keep beating that drum.
So crazy.
Yeah, they would. The Democrats would beat the drum of
So crazy.
He's got to go. He's got to go. He's a criminal. He's a criminal.
He should be arrested. He should be arrested. Oh, like treason. Like treason. I'm sorry, treason. It's the
and
treason.
Where did they come up with this fucking talking point? And it was on our Twitter. Unindicted co-conspirator.
Yeah,
that's like now a talking point. Like. I used to watch Tucker, that dude Tucker, from time to time.
He's actually getting pretty good nowadays. Like this last season.
Well, have you seen what he does when people
say
stuff like that? Like it's almost like he has a form of Tourette's. It's funny as shit. He goes like this. Like if somebody goes, "That man is a unindicted co-conspirator, and he should be charged for treason because of Russian collusion," and he'll keep count of the talking points, and he'll go like this. He'll go, right, sure, talking point, and then he'll respond to each one. It fucking cracks me up. It's like he can't do it. He can't like not respond without saying, "I'm glad to hear your talking point." He's pretty cool. He's funny, but he's
been doing a lot of really good interviews with like some of the liberals.
Yeah,
and he's been like, there was one with a lady in Boston. Just, I mean, not to go on a tangent, but just real quick, she was like, she was talking about they wanted to, lower the death rate of the opioid epidemic.
Right.
But Tucker, and so his point was, why are you, trying to pass policy that is letting low-level drug dealers get off?
Right.
Isn't that directly affecting the opioid crisis? And it was a good debate because he's just like, well, why would you want the guys selling drugs on the corner getting off, da-da? And her whole point was it costs them more money to actually... whatever, fuck all that. But yeah, that's like one of the interviews. And he always just hits like the left with like those questions, like the Cortez one.
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to pay for it? Oh, well, da-da-da-da-da. But you're not even doing the math at like $2.8 billion.
Have we talked about her yet?
$1.3 trillion.
Have we talked about her yet?
I think.
Oh my God.
We haven't updated it.
Jesus Christ.
But let's continue. Did we finish up with the other?
Stupider by the fucking second.
Did we finish with the Cory Booker and all that shit? That example?
Well, yeah. I mean, let's basically we're saying this is okay. My take is on it is
somebody was supposed to get shot,
or something grandiose was supposed to occur.
Maybe not, man. Maybe it happened somewhere else in the world.
I don't know. Just because
you see what I'm saying?
To me, the way I know history is that's how that works. Like somebody screams something,
but I think
supposed
it's
to be profound.
But remember, they're the fakers. They're the liars, Brian. So their moment, their Spartacus moment, is fake. But where's the real Spartacus moment?
I got you. No, I understand your point. I just mean that maybe at some point...
You think it was that op-ed guy? The guy that wrote that shit?
Who is it, by the way?
Nobody knows. Is he Spartacus?
What it would be funny if it was like Mike Pence or something.
I think it probably is Mike Pence. They were saying like there's some of the real heavy conspiracies.
I actually don't think it's real. Yeah, like I don't think it's real.
But Pence might be LBJ.
Right, so somebody's got to get killed. So
Trump.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I think something he was supposed to kick.
Maybe yeah. I want to see who the real Spartacus is on the true.
The big thing I wanted everybody to take from that was if you watch it, I would like people to learn like that's what we are supposed to be doing. Day-to-day life with anybody who perceives himself as an authority.
No.
In other words, Kavanaugh accepts that when he's talking to Senator Harris that she's a perceived authority. Right? He comprehends that and he's going along with it. So he's not challenging her, he's staying in honor. He's not challenging her directly, he's not getting nasty. Like Hillary Clinton, when she was in front of Congress...
That was, yeah. That is a good example.
Right. She was dishonorable. She was completely out of honor. In other words, she was nasty. She didn't know how to play the game because she just doesn't believe she has to play the game.
Right. But see, we might have to go back to that, Brian. Like, with what we know today and what we've talked about in these last couple episodes.
Right.
Like, since we started back up. We should probably revisit that and look at, like, compare some of the hearings.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's a prime example of me of, like, somebody that's completely guilty
Right.
knows it and is just literally aggravated with the fact that she actually even has to be present during this process.
Yes, she's mad that she
it's
even
so
has
beneath
to be there.
her.
Yes, she's mad that she actually has to show up. Yes.
And it's like, but lady, to this day, and I meant to ask you about that, it still blows my mind. A United States ambassador died.
Right.
In Benghazi.
Yeah.
And they're just acting like, nothing happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
But isn't that like active war ambassador?
Wait,
like,
because I'm going to go
World War I?
At first, initially I did believe that was how that went. And it is how it goes technically. But technically, he was not acting as an ambassador yet.
Okay,
no
all right. But you understand where I'm like, where my confusion is like, guys.
Right, because still...
Ambassador.
Right,
like,
still, you're right. I agree with you there. Like, it should have been treated the same way. It would be, akin to the logic of course, not the gravity of, but akin to the logic of if Obama was shot in Mexico. It's like, well, you just shot a U.S. president. Now, the Mexicans come back and be like, well, he's not president anymore. He was president.
right.
It's the same logic. Of course, the gravity, I admit, the gravity is different, but the logic is the same. In other words, yes, he was definitely a U.S. ambassador.
But
he just wasn't acting in that capacity.
In an embassy.
But the people who killed him because he was an ambassador. So,
I'm just saying, they're acting like an ambassador didn't get shot over there,
so
guys.
at some point, it could have been treated the same way. In other words, there was no reason for Obama and Clinton to get all, very lawyerly about it.
Right.
It's not when you're lawyerly. That's why I thought they were weak internationally, and that's why I thought this nation did suffer overall internationally when they were in charge, because while they were popular, they were not effective. Because that's a time where you don't get lawyerly. That's a time where you get tough. And you look at a country and you go, dickhead, you just shot my ambassador. And they go, well, technically I'm going to fucking level your city because I feel like it.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking as equals here.
But see, we're talking about the logic of this is what the process is actually. This is the step-by-step of the actual rules to the honorable side of the game.
Right.
I think the Clintons knew exactly what the fuck was going on.
That's
and they
what
were
I mean.
Like,
hold on. Honorably,
no,
they were dishonorable. That when you in other words, Bill Clinton remained in honor when he dealt with the whole thing that happened, the Black Hawk Down and the Mogadishu.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He remained in honor the whole time, even though he played the game at first, and when we started to lose the game, he said he wanted not to be in the game anymore, and when they kept the game going, then basically said, okay, well, now I'm going to fucking trounce you.
Yeah.
So essentially, he put UN soldiers there. They were there doing a job. We can debate whether they should have been there or not. They knocked down a couple of the pilots. They took one of the pilots. They hit him, and Bill Clinton said, okay, well, listen, this is not part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So give him back. Well, no, we're going to hang him in the street. And Bill Clinton said, that's not part of the game.
Right.
You're not going to do that. And they said, well, we're going to figure out what to do. And Bill Clinton says, good, you have 24 hours, and then I'm going to fucking turn your city into the Stone Age.
Mm.
That's what you do. That man comes out of that fucking city, or I'm leveling it. He comes out dead or alive. His body comes out. You have 24 fucking hours, or I'm leveling this city. And every national leader called Bill Clinton and said, hey, Bill. Bill went, fuck you. I'm not talking to anybody today. I'll talk to you in 24 fucking hours. And he hung up. Now, as bad as I
don't fuck with me. Nobody call me.
As much as I didn't like Bill Clinton, at certain times he played the role correctly. He did the same thing in Eastern Europe, which was very ballsy of him to kill people in Europe. That hasn't happened in a long time. Americans killing Europeans.
Right.
But he played the game, and he played the game with the people when Yugoslavia broke up, and all those different factions were fighting and killing and murdering and genocide and all that stuff. And he was trying to render the peace in between them, and basically every time he would turn around, one group would murder a group and basically one day he said, listen, if anybody fucking fucks around, I'm leveling and I'm fucking destroying every fucking military site I possibly can. They dared him, and in one night, that fucking dude leveled those fucking countries. Every
bomber showed up.
And nobody knew. It wasn't even in the news. Like, the news was probably about something about the NFL, and he fucking leveled. It didn't matter. Basically, what Bill Clinton said was, here's the deal. Tonight, 10 o'clock, if you have a gun in your hand and you're walking around in this land and we can spot you, you're fucking dead. And that's it. dare me. And they dared him, and he fucking leveled anybody. It was more ordnance dropped in those days than in all of like Vietnam. It was one of the most heavily bombed times in the history of the planet Earth.
I wonder how much that cost.
but my point is, he stayed in honor.
Yeah.
He said, listen, we're playing this game. You guys want to cheat? Okay. Because, I'm only playing the game because, it's like when I sit here and play checkers with the little kids.
Right.
I'm only playing the game because I'm a grown man who could crush you and you're just a kid. I'm not going to cheat, but if you cheat and you keep making me mad, I'm going to stomp on you like a bug. Right, I'm going to flip the board and I'm going to slap you or throw you on the roof. And basically that's what he did. Now, back to the example we were using, Obama and the next Clinton, they were not honorable when they dealt with Benghazi the whole entire way. Neither one of them was honorable. Basically, because, okay, he's an ambassador. He's not in official capacity, but he is there sponsored by you, and he's not in official capacity. Okay, so technically he's not an ambassador, but he's being attacked because he's your ambassador. If you don't stand up for him, then you're not going to stand up for anybody. Yeah. And that's the way the world's going to perceive you. The men who killed those guys, they're still alive. They were caught. And they're still alive.
Wow.
Now the old Clinton and George, I'm sorry to say, they would have never fucking done that with George Bush as president.
Yeah,
they just wouldn't have done it, and they won't do it with what's his name as president either. Yeah, they absolutely won't.
That should probably tell you.
Think about how many weird little terrorist attacks were going on around the world when Obama was president. Even in Paris, in Belgium, in London.
Yeah.
All those little terrorist attacks. Where are they now?
Where are they? I don't know.
They don't happen anymore.
Right.
Because you have a guy who's president who's going to say, listen, here's what's going to happen. If you fucking shoot up a disco in Paris and you kill one American, I'm not going to find you. I'm going to kill everybody I find on my way to you.
Right.
So if that's your grandmother,
right,
or your school teacher, your best friend, or the guy you play soccer with, I'm just going to fucking murder all of them. I may never get to you.
Yeah.
But your kids are gone. Your grandmom's gone. Your dog's gone. And believe it or not, people, in this world that we live in, this cruel world, that's honor. That's honor. Basically saying, listen, you kill, you die. And that's it. And, but that stuff happened when Obama and Clinton or Obama and Hillary were kind of running the thing.
I think that's it, Brian. Because remember, I'm going with this theme. The left side, the Democrats, the blue, the donkey. I think they're the liars, the deceivers.
I believe
they're the dishonor.
Well, I believe they're all. Yes,
when you put them in power, it all trickles down. Just the spirit of it, just dishonor, just strive, just it's strong in the nation. Dishonor.
Their model is bad anyway. I mean,
because I think the foundation is dishonor, steal, lie.
Of course, but both sides are. But the one side shuts up, and the one doesn't. The one will debate you. Like, look at Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
Like, sweetheart, you're going to run for president. What's the first question everybody's going to ask you? You refuse to address it. You refuse to address your whole Pocahontas thing.
Yeah. Yep.
You're going to try and run for president? Good luck. It's the first and 50 and 5,000th question somebody's going to ask you. You better have a good answer. You don't want a good answer? You better
23andMe is not a good answer.
You better stay away. Yes, you better stay away from that. Your Maxine Waters, who it's been proven, who through some Russian contacts, she got some money, which was completely legal. What she did to get money for her retirement is completely legal. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just bad optics, and it's the first question they're going to ask her. And it's going to be the 1,000th question they're going to ask her. And if you don't have a good answer, stay out of the arena.
Cortez?
She's just retarded. I think you could ask.
I think this is going to be Brian. I think the heavens has set up a beautiful stage for us, Brian. Here's what Steve's predicting. All right, I think we're going to have an epic showdown. I think it's going to be the most beautiful display of polar opposites that we've ever seen. All right, because remember, I'm talking about how that eclipse separated the country.
Okay.
If you want to believe in the biblical. Jesus is coming back. He's not coming back to save people. He's coming back with the sword.
Right.
He's trying to fucking divide motherfuckers. Good from the bad. The good fruit from the bad fruit, right?
Okay.
I think we're going to see socialism versus capitalism. I think we are. That fucking Cold War, that communism versus capitalism, it's about to go hot.
Right.
But it's not going to be with bullets. I think it's going to be in the political spectrum.
Not going to be bullets first.
Right. I think yes.
Right. Because eventually that's where it has to
We're definitely going to start shooting pretty soon.
Eventually, either one side's going to have to give up before, or that's going to be where it goes.
But I kind of think the left is going to be the Confederates in this case. I think they're going to be like, no,
they were not. They were in the other case too, by the way.
True.
Yeah, they were all Democrats.
I think they're going to be like, no, we're not going to lose again. This election isn't real. We're kidnapping officials. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then I think it's going to be like, whoa, well, now the military's got to go get officials. Right, but now the military's shooting Americans. Whoa.
And then you just explain the Civil War.
And now we got,
the Civil War where, basically, the Democrats, who were the South, sorry people, and they still are, they were, they had those installations, certain installations, northern installations or Union installations, and they basically took them. And if they didn't take those installations, the Army would have never had a reason to go get them. But they took them anyway.
Yeah.
So, and everybody goes, no. Yes, that's what happened. Harper's Ferry was one with John Brown. Another one was Fort Sumter. Where basically the United States government said, listen, this is our property and we're not leaving.
Can't be.
You can have whatever world you want to have outside of here, but we will not leave. It's ours, sort of like Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. And essentially, the southern states governments, the Confederacy said, no, we want you to leave. And they fired the first shots. And that was it. There's one guy who fired one shot, and there's a famous picture of him. He actually doesn't even look white. He looks like he's Native American. But he took that first shot, and that was the only reason that they needed. That was like the sinking of the Maine or the Lusitania. That's all they needed to just full sail, boom.
All right, so let's. Ocasio-Cortez is running for what? A Senate seat?
Yeah, no, she just won her primary. She didn't even win her. Wait, she just won.
Right.
Yeah, so she hasn't even won her primary yet. So she's still. By the way, the guy who she beat is not off the ballot.
Oh wow. Okay.
He's allowed to stay.
Well, see, that's what I mean. How the Democrats are just liars.
That's what I mean. Like
everything is fake about them.
Yeah, hold on. Since we're on her, let's.
But I want to get to.
Wait.
Go.
We're on her. The guy who she beat in the primary made her try MTV to get her to promise to back him if he lost, because he would back her, and he lost. And guess what? He didn't leave the election. He's just on another ballot. He's on the same ballot as another, just an add-on. He didn't leave. So that's my point. This guy was a Democrat stalwart, Steve. This guy was like big in the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
He's not leaving. He's like, fuck you. I'm not leaving.
Right.
In other words, there's your lie. There's your lie again. There it is. The whole, well, I will support you wholesale. Well, I won. But, maybe I won't. It's like, you just fucking said it on TV, dude. Yeah. So, God.
But no. Because I want to hear, like, your thoughts on, like, what position is she running for, though? Governor? Not governor. Just a representative?
Yeah.
So she's
for the federal government.
So she's going to be writing laws?
Yeah.
Okay. No, because
if she wins, yeah.
Okay, because I was like, she's not going like presidential candidate, is she?
No, not this time. No.
Because that would be awesome to see her versus Trump, though.
Oh my God.
To see like that debate, that would be the most beautiful debate ever.
It would.
It would be epic.
Well, it'd be a slaughter. I mean, that woman.
Because who else are they going to run?
That woman just can't.
Maxine. The Democrats are definitely going to run like 30 people.
Joe Biden again. It's like, why?
He's going to lose. John Kerry, maybe?
John Kerry again? That guy was exposed for being mildly retarded.
Well, no, I watched him on Rachel Maddow.
Yeah.
I'm sure that he's definitely deep state conspiracy guy.
Oh, absolutely.
He that whole fucking global warming. What did he do? What did he do?
John Kerry. Yeah, that's what's his
That's
name?
Al Gore though,
yeah,
right?
Gore,
I'm mixing him up with Al Gore.
Yeah.
Who was Kerry though? Kerry did some shit. He was Secretary of State and did some shit, right?
He was just.
Wasn't he? He was the Ukraine.
Yeah, he was the guy who was the secretary. No, wait, that was Hillary Clinton. He might have been for a while.
He did some Iran, the Iran nuclear deal.
Oh, good for him, man.
I think it was him and Obama that gave him that $1 billion or whatever. But whatever. But he might run.
He's retarded though. He's mildly retarded.
Yeah, but it's just funny how all the fucking like the old roaches are coming out.
Yeah.
To
it's
like,
funny how
no, Trump's winning so much. Get the roaches. Get the old ones.
It's funny too that like they only have
the old rats.
They have old white people for the Democrat Party, but they try and paint them as something else.
Yeah,
you know, it's like silk hat on a pig. It's still just a pig.
Nah,
like,
it's
they're
that,
old white people. Bernie was an old white guy. Hillary's an old white woman. They're just two old white people he had running.
Yeah.
So you can't say, oh, well, Trump's just an old white guy. It's like, well, so do they. As a matter of fact, the Democratic, I don't know. Why nobody fucking talked about this is beyond me. I don't fucking get it, people. You need to check your fucking heads. But at least the Republican Party had 16 people. They had women. They had Hispanics. They had black people. They had everybody.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party had one woman and 3 white guys. And 2 white guys dropped out within a week.
Yeah, because there was no race. It's only an illusion because they're the deceivers.
And then who did the party of diversity pick as that the vice president? What was his name? Tim Kaine or something?
Yeah.
That weird looking guy, man.
Kaine, yep.
Weird looking dude. Reminds me of, like I told you,
a pedophile.
Reminds me of that uncle that nobody ever wants to be, have their kid left alone at the family barbecue. Like, where's Uncle Ted? What? He's in the house. My daughter just went to the bathroom. Like he reminded me of that. He had like a weird looking fucking face, but
because I
party
think
of diversity.
These are the bad guys, man. These are the guys. I think I don't want to jinx it yet because I'm kind of doing like a social experiment with myself and like the atmosphere of like social issues.
Okay.
Like so far since Trump's been elected.
Okay.
Knock on wood. The police shooting of black men has decreased substantially. Either it has or they're not reporting it like they were.
Right.
And I need to find out what that true answer is because if it's true that a Republican's in power and all, like we talked about, the taxes and the suffering go away,
right?
Then I think we have at least a factor or data that we can put towards a hypothesis, Brian, that the Democrats, and I think they're the party of suffering and slavery and pain.
Yes, they are.
And I'm thinking we elected Obama twice, and the black community suffered a lot for it. And I want to see. Let's see if we go 4 years, and then we'll come back.
The only big
like there was a couple black guys that got shot.
Well, there was a black guy that got shot in Dallas, but I mean that woman should go to jail.
Right.
I mean she walked into his apartment and shot him because she thought he was in his apartment, in her apartment.
Right.
So,
clearly you were drunk or whatever,
high, or
and you walked in and you shot a guy.
You're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Maybe what were you buying drugs? Like, and don't get me wrong, that's not a racist thing. I'm just saying, like, something that story doesn't add up.
Right. I mean,
something was going on.
I heard it and I was like, that's fucking crazy. But it might have been like the next question I asked. Well, if it's somebody else's apartment, how'd you even get in?
Right.
I mean, I can't get into somebody else's house with my key.
Right.
So either you had his key or I don't know.
There's more to that.
Something you're not telling me, but she should go to jail. You shot a guy.
Yeah, and I think it's might be a bad case to politicize as far as
like cop shooting, because that wasn't really like a police.
The only thing I actually like about it is this, like, because they bang the drum now of it went from white privilege to white male privilege.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, white women are still the most privileged people.
But we always said that, remember? We always said that shit.
So we'll see how much trouble she gets in.
True. You know, but no, didn't they send that other white lady to jail? Remember?
I don't know, the ones like teaching officers in Dallas.
No, wait. Remember the one a couple years ago? There was video footage. The guy was standing outside of a white truck. It was on the highway. He got out of his car and
the
he
white
was
lady
walking
shot
around
him.
And the white cop shot him.
She is teaching classes in Dallas right now.
Okay.
And the police academy.
Okay.
On how to deal with controversy and not lose your career.
Well, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, the next time you see some white lady from Ardmore down in Center City blocking traffic on, you got white male privilege. You're like, lady, you're the most privileged person here. How do you know? Because if not, somebody would have dragged you fucking out of by your hair off of the fucking street because you're blocking the street, you asshole. Like, so I don't know. What I think is good about this is I think identity politics is very, very quickly starting to die.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think everybody's getting exposed. You have to be what you say you are.
Right. The check boxes aren't working anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, the identity politics is starting to die. The notion that you might have something more in common with somebody because of the color of your skin solely, and that makes you identifiable quickly, is going to end, which is a good thing. It should always end because, you know, that's one of those things I do believe that race is, you know, definitely a social construct, and, you know, it was constructed in our society. It's a social construct. And,
yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at how it's almost like the really, really, like, smart, nerdy kids in high school who like were always picked on and shit.
Yeah.
Like not even because they were like just because they're just assholes.
Yeah.
Like they were just fucked up dickheads. Like you're just rude. You're an asshole. Nobody likes you. That's why nobody likes you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
That's about it.
Yeah.
It's like they're not good at anything. Nobody really blames them for not being good at shit, but they always act like they're the best at shit.
Right.
And then when somebody like us is like puts them in their place because they got out of line talking shit,
yeah,
now you're a fucking bully.
Right. Exactly.
Right? And now
yes,
you get
you're
in trouble.
Bully. Yes, you're a bully.
It's like, no. I should have just punched him in his face when he ran out of his mouth the first time, but I didn't because I was a nice person.
Right.
But now he's smacking my bitch. Now I gotta fucking check him,
yeah,
right?
now I gotta. Yeah.
It's almost like these guys become fucking politicians.
Right.
And it's like now they write laws and shit.
Yeah.
That we have to fucking,
right? You have to follow them. If not, they're just going to get another guy to jump on you. So they're just getting.
Like,
they're
for
just
instance,
getting the principle.
like, did you watch Alex Jones confront Mark Rubio?
No.
You should watch it. Alex Jones was at the Senate hearing for Twitter, and he ran into fucking Rubio while I was getting interviewed.
Yeah.
And he talks about how conservatives are getting censored on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
He brings up Rubio's like how like just literally like you're trying to do an interview talking about shit, and this guy is in your ear contradicting you. Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
It gets a little heated. Alex Jones like touches him. He's like, "Don't touch me again, man." Da da da. Like, hey, you should watch it. Like, he's like, it's like, "What are you gonna beat me up, Mark?" He's like, "No, I'll handle it myself. These guys are gonna attack." It's like, whoa. And it's funny because you see that it's like, no, you were that kid in high school that nobody, like, you were supposed to be like the cleanest motherfucker, the best at everything. Right. You're just a fucking asshole who talks like down to people, and then when somebody steps to you, now it's like you obviously get bitched, but because of your status, it's like you expect to be some, you know what I mean? It's like that.
You know what I think is crazy about that too is just the notion that, I mean, Alex Jones, if you don't like that guy, there's dark internet now. Like, he's just going to go underground.
Yeah.
That's, if you really are scared of that guy, that's the last place you want him to be.
Right.
You want him. If you're really scared of him, you want him out in the open in front of everybody.
So yes,
you don't want that guy.
They did so well with the Sandy Hook thing, how they spun that on him, because that literally hurt him substantially. That was damage. Right. But now that they censored him, everybody's just like, "Yo, now you're proving our point." Like, you're literally proving the censorship we're talking about. You confirmed it.
Yes, and now you're just driving this guy into a place where he's not supposed to be. In other words, it's a great American debate, and it's the underlying philosophy is not inherently American, but it's our American debate. In other words, take the Ku Klux Klan.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a better idea to let them exist the way they were as long as they left people alone? Or to scatter them the way they did and drive them underground?
Probably better just leave them alone.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Because at least you would have known who they were.
And where they were.
Now it's like you don't have a fucking clue. Dude, you don't have a clue. Like, you know, and then everybody goes, well, then they don't exist. Some people don't believe they exist anymore. Some people know they exist still. You don't know. And they're not the only group. You know, there's groups on every maniac. You know, every grouping has its own maniac group. But that's what you have now. You drove him underground. You're going to drive this guy underground.
Yeah.
So whoever he was with is going with him. Now, how you going to know what they're saying now?
I mean, I don't think he's going to disappear. I think there's a lot of people that watch him. I mean, I watch him. Where
are you watching?
I mean, it's hard to find him now.
Yeah.
Now you got to go directly to his website.
Oh, directly.
But he's not on YouTube anymore.
Right, he's not on YouTube.
But I mean, like the reason why it's so concerning to me is because you can see how what they're setting up is all right, well, hey, if you don't agree with what we agree with, if you don't agree with the pink pussy hats, you're not going to have any internet. So, yeah, Hillary did win.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? What happens when they literally don't report the right fucking votes?
Right, in other words...
And it's like, somebody's like, no, look, I'm here. And they're like, they burned all the red votes, guys. They burned them all. Yeah. And it's like, oh, no, never hit the internet.
There was a good silver lining coming out of this, people. And that is, there's less and less able to hide the fact that they're all private entities.
Yeah.
And eventually, hopefully, that logic will start to sink into people's heads. You know, the whole idea of, and get to our personal goat, which is the PPA.
Yeah.
And everybody just, well, you have to pay them. It's PPA. It says Philadelphia. I'm like, doesn't matter, dude. It's a private entity.
Right.
It's a private entity.
But see, that right there, that doesn't even get into people like me.
It eventually will. If this starts to happen enough, we're eventually going to get to the way where people are going to be like, wait a minute. Are you public or private? And if you're private, but if you're public, I need to know why I owe you money. But if you're private... Until you can you better come to me with why I owe you money, or don't even fucking think of asking me for a nickel. Then we have to get to that point too. I don't know, because I agree with you. I think in the end, it might be the internet, it might be the quickness that information moves, and even if a lot of it's incorrect, it's better than what it used to be, which is nothing. You know what I mean? Like nothing used to get out.
Yeah.
So now if we have something that gets out, if you're a nut on one side and I'm a nut on the other side, there's probably somebody in the middle who's actually looking, going, okay, there's got to be something going on.
Yeah.
And I need to see, and I'm not just going to eat this anymore just because. I want to know what's going on. Like, you start to see people's really, like, true colors. Like, look at the whole idea with, Black Lives Matter and then Blue Lives Matter. Now, I don't agree with either movement per se, but at least But at least the Black Lives Matter is rooted somewhere.
Right, but no. Here's where I disagree with you on that.
Okay.
I think that this is what I hate running on tangents like this, but it's just so hard to explain what I'm trying to say with just like a couple sentences.
Go ahead.
So like, I always talk about, remember we talk about like the native and the colonialism? Like the native way was like, remember we spoke about
sharing,
cooperation versus competition.
Yes.
Right, so I always find it interesting how black people always complain about, like, white folks, about this, but then we always go to like a Starbucks will come into our neighborhood. That right there to me symbolizes the pinnacle, the paramount version of colonialism.
Okay.
Right? Because it's not a mom and pop's coffee shop.
Right.
It's a corporate entity that literally just sat in our neighborhood and everybody goes to.
Yeah.
That's the same fucking thing that happened to the native fucking Americans.
Okay, right, exactly.
They were going out hunting, and they came back, and all of a sudden there was a guy there selling fucking dead shit that they hunted already, corporate style. Yeah. They got guys and they got groups of horses going out and killing all the shit and bringing it back, right? And I'm thinking that this shit is happening again in this time period, and I think that happened with Black Lives Matter. Because when you look at who actually gave money to Black Lives Matter, George Soros, we all love that guy, right? Remember that name, Nazi sympathizer, literally rounded up Jews in the Holocaust, gave Black Lives Matter $300 million, okay? Then I see Black Lives Matter in the streets saying, let's kill cops, okay?
Right.
So where is this organic grassroots movement if you guys got $300 million from a Nazi?
Right.
Why do you think that's a good movement to support?
Okay, now I'm agreeing with you. I didn't mean it's rooted in righteousness. I said rooted in other words, it got really odd. The conversation turned so hostile so quickly you saw the lines immediately.
Yeah.
In other words, a lot of black people would side with, the Black Lives Matter, and the conversation
just because they were black, though.
Right, but then a lot of white people would line up and say, well, just just do what he says.
Uh-huh.
What?
Yeah.
Well, the cop told you to, so I don't have to listen to anybody tell me, well, just do what he says.
Yeah.
Whoa. I got in a few debates with some, suburban white housewives. Well, just do what he says.
Yeah.
Why should I do what he says? Well, because that's the way it goes. You ever been pulled over? No?
Right.
How the fuck you know how it goes?
Right. But see,
No,
I understand
the
that
lines
side of
were
the...
drawn so fast and so hard that it exposed everybody.
Right.
Like, there was no more lying. Like, now I know your heart. Your heart is just listen to him because he fucking said so.
Because he's a cop.
And I don't remember hearing that.
Right. Now, I agree with you because I know the other side of it is, but he's a racist cop, so he's here to harass you from the jump.
Okay.
So we already know what this is, and that's the black side of the argument.
Right.
This cop historically is here to harass me.
Right, which is not rooted. It's rooted historically. It's not rooted anywhere.
Right.
Current.
Correct.
But the point is, it polarized so quick that the lies went out the window.
Right.
Where you were always going with this.
So my next question is, well, how is that suburban white lady racist? Where did I get the connotation that she's racist?
I don't know if she's racist. I don't know if she's racist. She's definitely elitist.
Yes.
She definitely thinks I owe her money.
Okay, that's fair. She
definitely thinks I owe her money if she says, well, just listen to him. No.
Right.
I don't want to pay the $600 fine for whatever it is.
Okay.
Maybe I'm going to ask him.
But see,
why don't you just pay it? You just don't want to pay a ticket. Well, who the fuck wants to pay a ticket?
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to pay. I'm like, let me guess. You never got one.
Okay,
you never got pulled over.
Now that's one side. That's one aspect. But like I'm seeing the side where it's like, well, it's almost like people of color don't necessarily like the law.
Steve, think about the
taking it over there.
Utopia.
Right, exactly.
Those people living outside the city, they can only make money and live out there because of us, because we live in here.
True, yeah.
They're watching us, Steve.
Fair,
we're the rats, we're the mice, dude, and they're not. They're the ones going, oh, just do what we tell. Just do it.
I'm Spartacus.
No, that's different. Yeah, because this is like the idea that they seem to think like, just do what you're supposed to do. Just do it. Well, maybe I don't want to do that.
Right.
Who the fuck are you, by the way? Who are you telling me I should just do it?
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, I think they're the ones standing outside. I think we're the mouse utopia, and they're just standing outside watching us. That's all. They can't exist. In other words, you're talking about groups of people who had to leave the city because they hate it, but they could never actually leave to the point where they couldn't use us to make money.
Right.
So they still make money off of us. They complain about the city all the time. I can't believe I have to pay city wage tax just for going in the city. Dickhead, if you crash your car, you expect to dial 911, you expect somebody to show up, because you know what happens if you're out in the sticks and you crash? They send you a motherfucking bill. They don't. It's not free.
Right.
If you go to, they come to these playgrounds and they use them like there's no rules.
Right.
You try and use their public rules.
Yep.
Yeah, if you don't have a tag. My point is it drew lines so quick it was scary. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but some of the people who the Black Lives Matter would say, this is what we're talking about. This is the system. This is what you mean. Like,
but
don't get me wrong. I don't
think that's the system.
But hold on, no, because I'm not. We're not. You and I we're not in disagreement. My point is, it's just like you said earlier. Like it scratched that. It like somebody put salt into that wound, and it just got painful. In other words, the discussion bifurcated so quickly that there were no more lies.
Yeah.
I know who you are now, and I know who you are.
I think that's why this is such a brilliant time, man. It's such a brilliant time.
In other words, 20 years ago, we all did. You're right. You're 100% correct, Steve. 20 years ago, we all lived in a gray area. We almost tried to pretend that this didn't exist.
Yeah.
30 years ago, in the 80s, we tried to pretend that we were all trying to get along, but really, this white guy doesn't like black people. This black person doesn't like white people.
Right.
And all of a sudden,
these black people don't like black people.
Right. Now all of a sudden, we're in this age of black lives and blue lives. Boom. It's like there's no middle ground anymore. There's no more gray area. There's no more phoniness. There's no more lying. You can't
You have to own it now.
Yes. You don't like. Okay. You don't like this. You don't like that. Okay. Because you know how quickly those discussions break down into, white people will do this and black people will normally do that.
Yeah.
It breaks down so fast, and it's like, there you go. There's the real culprit.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And I'm not saying, I don't know if that woman who I was speaking with, I wouldn't call her racist simply because I would think she's more Trump-like. She's elitist. In other words, she needs to for her to be a suburban housewife, her husband needs to come to this city and somehow eke out a living or make decent money. And I don't think they give a shit what color the people are who they make the money off of. They don't care.
Yeah.
As long as she doesn't have to go to work
I mean,
you can go to Whole Foods and go to yoga class and pick up the kids and fill her day with a schedule that makes her seem like she's busy when she's
I heard something on I forget where it was. It might have been like Dan Bongino or something, but a concept kind of hit my head where it's interesting. It's almost like we're seeing the creators and like, remember how we always talk about like the God and the devil? The devil's like fucking not a creator. He copies everything,
right?
And he always fucks it up.
Yes,
because he's not good at it.
Right.
He can't create shit.
Right. And his sin is that he's copying.
Right. So it's almost like there's a group of people like the blue collar people who we consider the hard working Americans. The people who are like, no, I'm going to go out and earn my fucking money for my family, right? Let's just say that's a generic blue-collar person, right?
Right.
Everyday average person. Then you have the people who leech and take from the working people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There are people that can only make money off of taking and harming other people.
Now, hold that point.
This is where
hold that point, because what happens is the blue-collar people in this country are taught that that's poor people.
Very interesting. Okay.
It's not. They're being taught by the real people that it's the poor people. It's to get your hand out of my pocket.
Right.
So you just made a good point where we both agree. Like, in other words, it's
right. So what I'm thinking is, when I see the Democrats, and I always say evil and shit like that, and that might not be it's the right word, but it might not be the right like context. I'm seeing them as the ideology, the corporation, this is the practice of taking from. We're taking from the people.
Right.
Because we're the guys that suck at everything.
Right.
We're not good at shit. Right. But you know what we're really good at? Taking from people who have shit.
Right. That's what we're
good
at.
Stealing. Yeah. We're good at lying. We're good at deceiving. We're good at taking candy from fucking babies.
Right.
And this is what
how do we do that? How do we do that?
Abortion, we're good at taking fucking kids.
How do we do that? Now, Steve, how do we do that? We do that as we start making policies. Okay, we can't.
We identify first,
right? We can't exactly.
Who are you?
And we can't do it right out. So how do we do it? We do it by giving you sitting on the street, and you have to give me a quarter. And if you don't give me a quarter, you owe me $46. And if you don't give me $46 within 10 days, you owe me $276.
Yeah.
They see that. How did that money get like that? How did that happen? It's because.
Wait, I got one for you. Let's do it a little more like. We always like to go bare to the root. Like, remember, we always go native and colonialism, right? Okay. So let's go. We're just men walking down the street, all right? We're the natives who have lived. Our families have lived here forever, Brian, right?
Yeah.
You and me were hunting buddies. We just came back. We killed some rabbits. Caught some shit. We're bringing it back. We're walking down the road. We're going home. We're tired. Brian, let's go have some beer or something. And then some guy comes up to us. Whoa, fellas. Whoa. You both owe me 10 cents to go walk on this road. The sheriff, did tax. He owned that. You're taxed. Well, who the fuck are you, dude?
Yeah, exactly. Who the fuck are you?
Whoa. Well, this badge right here is from the guy.
Right.
He said that we're going to come get you.
Right.
And I think that's them. That's the Democrats.
Yes, that's them.
We're the guys who are like, if you don't get the fuck out of my way, we're going to fucking shoot you with this shit we just killed these animals with.
Right.
But then the other guys come to arrest us.
I got you 100%. We're in agreement.
It's crazy.
It's
the liars. Who the fuck are you,
though,
dude?
like, we live in an age now where that's finally stripped back.
Right.
Now, hold on. Because that was the way it was. I would imagine that was the way it was. And from my historical readings, that's the way it was in England with the royalty. But that's why those people ended up leaving.
But they're the Starbucks, Brian.
Hold on.
It's like they popped up out of nowhere.
Right. But it wasn't because they were, strong-armed out of England. It's because they were like, I'm just fucking tired of dealing with these assholes. Every time I turn around, he's asking me for money.
Right.
Oh, well, this is my road. What do you mean this is your road? It's fucking been here for 100 years. But that guy gave it to me. Who the fuck gave it to him?
I've been cooking dinner for the village for fucking 20 years. What do you mean I need a license to cook for the people? What are you talking about? Oh, well, the city ordinance says that we got standards now. You got to... And it's like, who the fuck are you?
Yes, who the fuck are you?
And I think it evolved into this, Brian. It evolved into this.
Right, but now it's starting to break back again.
Those guys are now fucking wealthy billionaires. And
right.
they're doing the same shit.
Right, but it's starting to break down. Like, in other words, people are starting to understand. I heard somebody else say this the other day, and listen, I'm not going to toot my horn. I believe, because I'm not the only one who talks this stuff, or you, Steve, but I believe we're starting to work into people, and people hear us more. I heard some people talking the other day about police and the notion of, if it wasn't for you and all these silly policies that you're enforcing, we wouldn't have any interaction at all.
Right.
What? That is so fucking profound to hear from another human being that I don't know. I'm like, wait a minute, are you fucking around? What
you
are
one of us, brother!
I said yes. He goes, listen,
I'm Spartacus!
But this was a casual conversation. This wasn't dudes like us. This was just like somebody like, like, what the fuck? Like, why do they give a shit if I walk across the street?
But see, I think it's the next generation. I think it's not like that millennial. I think there's some of the ones that are like resistant.
Right.
Like the computer shit. Like, there's a lot of millennials who are like, this is stupid. Like, fuck this phone. Like, you know what I mean? I think they're starting to realize, like, it's not fun. That shit's not fun. But I think you're absolutely right. More and more people are like, that's retarded. That no. Like,
yes.
No.
Exactly. They're getting like, in other words, I don't know if it's a natural progression like Brian's generation.
Uh-huh.
Like, they're not as into the whole idea of just pay it type thing like, my parents were or ours.
Have it. I don't think we have the money like that.
But they're more questioning. They're more like, wait a minute, who the fuck are you anyway?
Right.
But they kind of let certain things go, but I can feel it. I can feel it in them. I can feel that little bit more of, I don't know if it's tied in with the whole idea that they are being taught somehow that, like, listen, dude, you're not going to be able to fucking retire. So just, we're just kind of like, if I'm not going to be able to retire, then I'm going to fucking live how I want to live right here, right now.
But see, that's how I'm kind of living. I'm just like, fuck Disney World. I'll stay over here at Eden. I'm going to try and head back to Eden a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as we got power and running water.
So I think what we did was, we unwittingly turned... If I'm going to say this, and we're going to try and bring it full circle before we end, went on Colin Kaepernick. I think we unwittingly unleashed this type of thing by becoming those weird parents that my generation became, the helicopter parents.
Mm.
And, making sure that, when my kid, when I was a kid, I played football. And, I can vividly remember playing on a field that was, like, awful and badly marked, and who the fuck knows if it was even 100 yards?
Absolutely.
Old shit, like, and then you come to my son's generation. He's a 75-pound football player. We're painting the fields. We're mowing the lawns. We're leveling the fields. He's wearing all the gear, and I think
would you like my athletic training experience from what I've seen over in
Go ahead,
Brian. It's almost like what happened. It's like they took. We can almost see the waves, Brian. We can see like the fucking wave of like consumerism. It's like the NFL. The NFL went.
Hold. I don't think they give a fuck. I don't think Brian's generation and stuff gives a fuck.
Right.
Like that 19, I think they're kind of like, dude, why? They're looking at us going, why the fuck are you taking this so seriously?
So here we go. Here we go. So it's almost like, remember like the NFL used to, like all these sports and shit, it was like build up, but remember the uniforms were like shitty.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, that doesn't look good.
Yeah, like you watch Lawrence Taylor, like, he looks like he was
it's like Charles Barkley, like Shaq, you're balling, but your uniform was like shit.
Yeah, you had short shorts.
Now they got fucking sleeves, they got fucking colored tights, the uniforms are like, it's stylish, it pops. It's like, the Warriors are wearing black tonight.
Right.
Ooh, it's a show. It's almost like a fashion show.
Right.
Right? That trickled down completely in the high school sports.
Right.
When I tell you, I had athletes on my teams who were the best dressed bench warmers you've ever seen.
Yes.
They had the plays on they had the wrist coach. They had the Under Armour visor.
Right.
Never got dirty.
Now,
because it's about consumerism.
Yes. Now,
here's
where the gear shift occurs. Sticker shock.
Uh-huh. Right.
So you have yes. Now listen. So you have, say, like my son, and he is roommates with guys that went to LaSalle High School. And that was a top flight, nationally ranked team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Flew
I played
all
them.
over the place.
Yep, I played them. They were fucking good.
Yes. Flew all over, top gear, everything, just beautiful, always looking nice and sharp and traveling. And now they live in Drexel, and none of them made it to the pros, and they didn't even make it to college.
Right.
And now all of a sudden they have to buy those Under Armour cleats.
Right.
And they're like, did they always cost $200? And you go, yes, they did. And they start to go, what the fuck, dude?
Right.
What?
Right.
Like, because that's my son. Like, Brian was never a consumer. You know, I believe I did that good of a job with him. He was never consumer driven, but he likes technology.
Yeah.
Till that dude started buying stuff, and now he is so reluctant to pull triggers.
It's
Almost like he's taking steps back. Like we go, well, Brian, you want a game? I want this game. I want that game. And now all of a sudden he's like, did those games always cost $60? And I'm like, yeah, Brian. He's like, I don't want those fucking games. And he looks at me like almost apologetic, like, Dad, I'm sorry. I never
that's how I feel too.
Yeah,
that's how I feel too, right?
I say, because Brian, we didn't tell you, because that's my generation of parenting, was just to fucking give and give and give and give and give.
Here's where I think a caveat is in that, Brian. I think like when we always hear like Coca-Cola used to be 5 cents.
Right. Now
it's fucking $3.
Right.
Right? I think that's what happened. I think the deceivers, the liars, the guys that take from the people.
Right.
They got so efficient.
Right.
Or not even efficient. They were just left alone. They were left to fester.
Right.
So long that they became so big and they took so much.
Right.
To where it's like
they just thought that was the way. They became
complacent. It was fine.
Yes.
It was like, well, shit, we're already taking.
And then it became the next generation thought they just were owed that.
Right, but here's what began to happen. So I always remember like my father saying like, yeah, you know, like your grandfather bought that house back in the 40s for like $20,000.
Maybe.
Now it's like $150, right?
Right.
And you're like, wow, how did that number fucking grow like that? Well, the cost of living went up substantially, but the fucking wages dropped because they were taking from there was nothing to recycle the people back into. All right, well, hey, guess what, Susie? Now you're making this much money a year, so you can improve.
Now,
go buy a house. Go start a business.
Now, hold on. Let me. So we're going to keep this point going. This is why I say it's with the newer generation and not mine, because mine was the last of the generation like my parents.
That actually,
mine was where
your wage, you can live off that.
Yes, right. I can get it, because I laugh at people now. Like I look at some guys like your age, and I'm like, dude, by the time I was your age, I'd already owned a home, I had a car, and all. And I'm like, how's it not? And then I look at you guys, and I look and I go, you're never getting that kind of stuff. It's done for you,
because that reality died.
Yes, it's done.
It's dead.
It's dead.
Because
so
now, how the fuck am I going to give you fucking $2,000 for a studio apartment? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because you're downtown?
Yeah.
And you... Hold on. Let's not... Here's the other point I wanted to get to. It's like shit started to get more expensive.
Right.
But the business model was like, no, we're just going to give them the cheapest shit. Like the cheapest quality shit we can. You know what? Let's make the profit margin even bigger.
Right.
So it's like cars used to be made out of fucking steel.
Right.
Now we're made out of fucking like aluminum.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you can see it in everything you get. Like
everything.
You used to get razor blades that used to be like, oh man, that's a metal. Now it's plastic. It's cheap. It breaks a month after you buy it. Yeah. And this is to me what is happening. Right. It's like it got so outrageous where it's like, Under Armour, I just want a t-shirt. Why is it $25?
Right.
Does it have to be $25?
Yeah, they're like, well, how am I supposed to pay Steph Curry? I'm not paying him with my money.
Wire tights.
I'm not paying him with my money.
You know what I mean?
And then you get to, wait a minute, why does a politician always say they need to raise money? Well, why don't you run on your own? Oh, well, I'm not paying for it with my money.
Right.
I don't care what my stance is and how I'm championing the people. If I'm going, you're paying. And then all of a sudden, everybody goes, well, Trump's not draining the swamp. And you go, yes, he is. Why? Because he paid with his own fucking money. He's not beholden to anybody, one. Two, he just exposed you.
Yeah.
Use your own money.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not going to... Hillary Clinton, you have a foundation. You're a billionaire, honey. Yeah. Oh, but I need to fundraise. For what? Why are you asking people to grassroots give you $20?
Because
you're a billionaire. Because she doesn't believe. She's now the generation of people who just believe she's entitled to that. Believe it, the first guy who made Nike or whatever, we'll just use sneakers, knew that he was going to have to work to be a wealthy guy.
Yeah.
And maybe he even saw that potential market and said, you know what, I'm going to be a wealthy dude. Maybe my family's not going to have to work ever.
Right.
But that's the problem. The problem is now, generations down the road, they actually believe, well, I don't have to work ever.
Right.
Right? You see what we created?
Yeah. But these are the people in charge of the companies that are giving us our goods.
Right.
So this is why it's like even the fucking food weed is just shittier.
Right.
Like everything's just shit.
But that's what's going to happen now. You're going to start,
and it's more. It costs more, bro.
Brian's generation is going to turn this place on its ear. Because he's going to be getting out of school soon, and they're going to saddle these dudes with student loan debt.
Yep.
And they're going to go, okay, well, you know what's going to happen to housing? What's going to happen to housing when the two bankers, the guy that was giving out mortgages and the guy that was giving out student loans, well, the guy who was giving out student loans, he beat the other banker. But you know what? You're going to start eating yourself because one thing drives the other. And these kids are never getting in a fucking house.
Right.
So when this guy sinks, the guy who gives out the mortgages sinks, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be able to afford school. There's going to have to be some sort of bloodletting. And I almost mean that literally. There's going to have to be some sort of bloodletting in which, something changes. Because what are you going to do?
Right. I mean, that's what I'm thinking maybe Trump's turning it around, but who knows? Maybe not. But like I'm saying, until corporations and stuff get back to, hey, we're gonna sell you a fair priced fucking shit. Like McDonald's is a prime example.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s, up until I guess right before the teens of the 2000s, we're making cheeseburgers for 2 cents.
Yeah.
And we're charging them fucking $3, and we just put pink shit in the shit.
Yeah.
It's not even fucking real food.
Not only that, but I always get mad at people because when they don't listen to me. Like, I always say like this with certain people. Like, I'll go out to eat. I'm like, let's go get some, I don't know, I live in South Philly. There's plenty of places to go eat, and they're fairly cheap. You figure you go and get a decent meal in South Philly at a decent place for like $12, $15.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's so expensive just to sit down and eat. And I get that. I'm a parent. I get the whole, unit costs and stuff. But then they're like, well, let's go to McDonald's. I'm like, your McDonald's shit just cost me $11.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit.
Right.
You know
and
what I mean?
it's not even healthy. It's not even food.
It's just complete fucking utter bullshit. And now, I could have gone somewhere where at least I was, spending my money locally, local business, small business, who buys locally. But instead of giving $12 to the taco guy, I just gave $11 to some fucking corporation. And nobody listens, Steve. It's like fucking... That's that cognitive dissonance that makes me want to puke.
Well, no, I think that's...
like they go, oh, okay, and then they go to the next topic.
Right.
Like, I didn't say what I just said.
It's like you proved it, they recognize you proved it, but I don't really care.
Right, they don't care.
It's alright, well, jump off the cliff.
Right, okay. And
jump off the cliff.
Right, and you're right, they don't care.
Go ahead and drink the arsenic, man.
Right, and you don't care, and nobody's investing in your neighborhood, and nobody's buying in your neighborhood, and then the sale of the house goes down, and some guy from New York buys it for $30,000 and sells it for $250,000, and you're mad.
Right.
Because you never invested a nickel in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Never. And, you and I have talked about this a lot, and I still believe it, the fact that a lot of investing goes on in these neighborhoods, and we don't make any of their money. But at the same time, I think they can only come in because we've shown an interest that we didn't even want to.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but that's... I know
what you mean. It's like, if you guys were doing it, we wouldn't be able to do it. Like, you know what I mean?
It's going to come to an end, say you have Brian's generation.
They're not going to buy shit.
They're not. Like, how are you
then you're going to have to go
to sell 100... You know how much a standing room ticket is to the Eagles game? Standing room ticket, meaning you don't get a seat? It's $150.
Who the fuck with a part-time job is going to pay for that?
Who's going to pay? That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just not... You've got 76,000 seats you have to fill... And you're selling the seats, you're selling based off of the notion that everybody's going to fill those seats. You got like 5 more years, Steve.
Yeah.
You got like 5 years and you're going to have guys like Brian and his friends, they're going to maybe even start families and be like, dude, that's not even close to the realm of something I can afford. Not even close to it.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess that's like it'll balance itself out. People will stop going, they'll naturally drop the prices.
Right, that's what's going to happen.
Like the Sixers. Remember the Sixers, they were throwing away tickets.
Yeah.
Until
now they're super expensive.
Now it's like, oh, we're back up. We're back in business.
Yeah. And then what's going to happen when they suck this year?
Yeah.
It's like they're going to be giving them away.
No, they'll keep it until the people get sick of it.
But my point is, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about guys like, we have too many entities around now that are like that.
Right. That's the practice. That's
and it's definitely and I'm putting this out there, guys. It is definitely not my parents' generation's fault. It's not your generation. It's my generation's fault for being that helicoptery, just total consumer-driven, constant parenting, where the business model for anybody. I mean, it only makes sense for the business model for everybody to jack up the price on everything. One of these fools is going to buy this $150 ticket. One of these fools is going to buy this $1,000 gaming stick.
I gotta get my son the Under Armour sleeves.
Yeah.
Everybody else on the team has them. He's got to look cool. He's got to look good on the field.
Yeah.
Doesn't know who gives a shit if he plays well.
Exactly, or plays at all.
He does, but it looks good.
Gives a shit if he even plays.
He's a part of the team.
Yeah. But
remember, everybody gets a trophy.
The sticker shock is starting to take hold in these kids.
Yeah.
It's funny as shit because I see it. I see it go on. I see I see them already starting to get to that notion of, which my generation didn't know.
But you know what's an interesting thing that I think that it just baffles me how economists probably know, but like the big guys who make the money off all this shit, I think like you said, they've gotten so comfortable where they're just like, oh fuck it, the money's coming in. But it's almost like, guys, nobody's gonna buy. You just keep going up. Who's gonna buy a fucking $400 sneaker if nobody has any money?
Right.
Like the reason you guys were successful in the '90s is because our parents were making $80,000.
Right.
Back then.
Yes, and you were
so we could go out and get two video games.
Yes.
2 Nintendo games.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And the expensive sneakers. Like I remember when the first sneaker hit $100.
$100. Air Force Ones in the '90s. That was like
fucking,
whoa.
That was like mind blowing. It was like what? What?
Now you got $700 kicks. Easy.
Yeah, I know somebody who worked here who they didn't know where their life was going, and they didn't have a great job, and they didn't know their future, and they had things, and every single week they would buy a new pair of Nike $170 Nikes every week.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you even eating food?
Yeah, because it's like it's this weird combination. It's almost like the Mouse Utopia. They have a formula where it's like depression sets in because you don't have enough money to do what you want. You have this fake delusion of MTV, like everybody's supposed to be successful driving a Lambo. Right? Okay, well, how are you going to own a $300,000 car with a part-time job where you're getting $15 an hour?
Right.
That's never going to happen. In your lifetime, the math just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're still believing that dream, going out to the club every week, spending $300 on a bottle of Alizé that costs $20 in the liquor store, you see what I'm saying? You're living a lifestyle of a billionaire, and you have a part-time job.
Yeah, what do they call it? The champagne appetite.
It's like you're going out buying
the
Gucci,
beer budget.
but you have to come to work and pay. You got to work double time for that Gucci.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the idiot stuff. Like that's the dumb shit.
Yeah.
That's falling for the consumerism.
Yeah, but it's gonna end soon.
Yeah, for the smart people,
because it's gonna get to the point for that person or like my son's generation, we're gonna be like, okay, well, because it's not gonna crash around them, but it's gonna change. We're gonna go, okay, well, what do you want to do? You want the Nikes or do you want to eat?
Right. But see, I already see it happening. You see people. Nobody really goes when you go out